Hey, what is going on, guys? Andrew in the Money Options back with another video. Today is November 21st, 2024. It is a Thursday, guys, so happy Thursday. I hope you all are having a good day so far. As you guys can see in the pre-market session, we can see that Nvidia is down about 1.1% actually. This was the biggest IV crush I've ever seen in a very long time, and I knew it was going to happen, and I called it. You can even backtrack me in my previous videos. Nvidia had earnings yesterday in the after hours. Right when those earnings hit around 4:20 p.m., I'm going to look at it on a 1-minute time frame. Nvidia actually dropped instantly. It dropped about 4.5% right when the earnings came out. So it dropped from all the way up here, it dropped here in 1 minute. And then it came all the way back up. Look at those two bullish hammer candles straight back up. And then it got sold off slowly back down. And then it just started chopping its way to the upside. And then towards the end of the trading day, market hours, it started trading its way back to down to the downside, right? Now, overnight trading, it was just fluctuating, just stable, around that VWAP, nothing big moves, nothing major. Now, taking a look at the pre-market session today when Nvidia first opened. Nvidia, I'm going to look at it on a 5-minute time frame. When they first opened, they opened around 143. They dropped in about 20 minutes all the way down to 139. They were down about 4% at the time. And look at it now. What is going on with Nvidia? Look at this big pump. Recovered, rebounded, made all of its gains back. This is insane to see because this is an IV crush. So whoever bought calls on Nvidia is going to lose money. And whoever bought puts on Nvidia is going to lose money as well. Now, most people are going to think, why am I going to lose money if I bought puts? It's down 1%. It's down $1.50. That's amazing. And yes, you got a point. You definitely have a point. But taking a look over here, this is Nvidia on Robinhood. If we hit trade options, right, this week, the 145 put, it dropped. Nvidia was at 145 something, like 145.20 before the market closed yesterday. And now it's at 144.37. So even if your strike is in the money, if we click on that strike price, right, let's take a look at the Greeks. This is the main thing you want to take a look at, as well as the statistics. Take a look at the IV on the very top right-hand corner. It says 177% IV. The theta is 2.31, which is, ooh, man, that's big. And the delta is 0.54. In this specific scenario, the Greeks aren't really going to play that much of a role and impact the stock and impact the option as much as the IV. The IV is 177%. What is IV usually supposed to be at? And what is IV? IV is implied volatility. Implied volatility basically means that, okay, usually the number's around 40 to 50% implied volatility. When you see it's at 177, why is it so high? And the reason why it's at 177% is because the earnings are coming out. The anticipation. Everyone's anticipating these earnings to come out. Everyone's anticipating them to have a big move to either side. So because they barely even dropped just a little bit, just 1%, and it's even recovering even more too, that's nothing. So these contracts are going to open up at like literally 5 to 10 cents a contract. They're going to lose all of its value. Maybe not 5 to 10 cents because these contracts are $6.80 a contract. They might come down to like $1 or maybe $2 a contract. Calls and puts. So they got slammed. That's why playing earnings is very risky because you just never know what's going to happen. The only way to really make money on an earnings play is, for instance, like Snowflake. I gave you guys Snowflake calls for earnings, which was, again, not financial advice. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what happened for Snowflake. Take a look at this, guys. This gives me FOMO. This makes me, honestly, a lot of people are going to like give me some backlash for this, but I'm just honest. I'm an honest, transparent investor / trader. When I see Snowflake right now, like this, it honestly kind of pisses me off in the inside. Because, man, I knew it was going to go up. I knew it was going to go up, but I don't own the stock. And I wish I owned the stock. I wish I had 100 shares at 122 a share. Snowflake is a great stock. A great company. Snowflake has a lot of revenue. They're cloud computing. They do a lot of work. And as far as technology-wise, and they're going to continue on growing. Now, taking a look, Snowflake actually had a loss on their third quarter revenue, if you guys did not know. But the stock is up. Why? Because they posted that they're going to have good guidance for next quarter. That is insane. That is honestly insane. They're up $29 in the pre-market, up 22.5%. So when you see a stock like this for earnings and they popped up 22%, you know if you got calls, you're going to make so much money. Because it's not up 1% or 2%. It's up 2%. So whoever bought calls on Snowflake is going to bank. And I'm talking really, really bank. But you always want to keep that in mind. You always want to understand what's going on as far as the Greeks in the statistics for an option contract. Now, after Nvidia, taking a look at Apple, we can see Apple is up 60 cents pre-market. They made their way back up in the green. They were down about 50 cents, pumped back up in the green. They're chilling now, up at 229.60. Again, this is not financial advice. Apple has been hitting higher highs, especially on the weekly, and as well as higher lows. I am looking at calls on Apple above $230 a share. Again, this is not financial advice. And I'm potentially looking at next week, $230 calls, sitting at $2.33 a contract for the premium. We're looking at these specific calls, and they are, see, look at these contracts. Their IV is 19%. And then you go to Nvidia, because their earnings, their IV was 177%. That's a big, big game changer right there. That's an outlier, right? But I'm potentially looking at the $230 calls for Apple expiring next week if we break above $230 a share, and that's not financial advice. Taking a look at Microsoft, pretty much break even. Nothing really much to say, up 4 cents. Starting to show some signs of bearish momentum to the downside. Now, looks like we had a little bit of a rebound, and then we kind of started to come down slowly this past week. I am looking at puts on Microsoft below $412.50 a share. Again, that's not financial advice. Taking a look at Google, they were down about $1.50 pre-market, made themselves back up in the green. They're still down about 0.2%, hovering around $175 a share. It is looking very similar to, I guess you could say, Apple in a way on the weekly, but then they got rejected. Now, what does that mean? Yesterday, Google actually went from 178 down to 176, to 174 for the bottom. They lost all their momentum. They lost all their strength. I'm telling you guys, Google looks so beautiful here on a monthly. When we saw it hit 171s, and then it came all the way up to 178s, and then it came back down, right? This was just yesterday. It looked very bullish. It kind of broke that. But it still is bullish. If you got to see it, you have to see it in a specific way. Why? Because it hit a higher low. 168 was a low. 170, 150 was a low, and this could potentially be another low at 174.66. So keep your eyes on Google. We're still looking at levels and analysis, but no options plays yet. Amazon is up 31 cents pre-market. Amazon looks like it found a nice bottom here for the past, 3 trading days. It's been fluctuating here around 200 to 204, but it's not going above or below those prices. So I feel like right now we just need to wait for Amazon to just kind of do its thing. It might be forming I apologize. It might be forming a small bear flag, so keep your eyes for another leg to the downside on Amazon if we break more levels to the downside. Taking a look at Meta, up 83 cents pre-market. They had a nice little squeeze, up $3, and they came back down. But they had a nice little recovery, honestly, too, from a drop and a bottom. They were down 5.3% in the past week, down $30. Now they're only down 13. That's a good strategy to just see these stocks, these blue chip stocks, these multi-billion-dollar company stocks, multi-trillion-dollar stocks. You see these big sells down 5% on the week, and then you scalp a call when you're at the very, very bottom. And of course, they're going to rebound a little bit, even if they don't have to go all the way up to the moon, but they rebound somewhat. Again, that's not financial advice, but something to keep your eyes on, something to look at. And taking a look at Tesla, had a big sell today, down $4.70, pre-market down 1.38%. Rebounded only down 0.2%. Comment down below, guys, which of these blue chip stocks you own and how many shares you have. Now, taking a look at the earnings. So we have Nvidia, which reported earnings yesterday. Snowflake, guys. Snowflake was the best banger this week. I gave you guys Snowflake calls for earnings, and I'm so glad I did because this thing pumped. I know Target and Walmart was a miss, but Snowflake was a banger, as well as Nvidia, because I said IV crush, and it definitely was an IV crush. Now, today, guys, pre-market, we have BBAI, PDD, and John Deere. Keep your eyes on those. And then after hours today, The most anticipated today after hours is going to be Intuit. And then, of course, there is Gap, Raw, Stress for Less, and that's going to wrap it up for the earnings. Now, taking a look at SPY here on a daily candle, we can see that SPY and guys, I want to tell you something. This is looking very good for signs of bullish momentum. Looking at SPY with this hammer candle to the upside, this is a bullish candle. Now, what candle am I talking about? This very last candle we see. We saw that SPY came all the way down to 584s, and then it just came all the way back up. It rebounded and made all those gains back. I am potentially looking at calls on SPY above 591.05. Again, this is not financial advice. And you know what's the crazy thing, guys, is that I'm saying this and then it's already above it in the pre-market session. So they broke it. It is at 591.81. The next level, guys, of support is 592.65. So I'm looking potentially at calls on SPY above 592.65. That was the low on the day, which was support for, or it's going to act as resistance now on the 14th of November. Something to keep your eyes on. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you haven't already, make sure you guys go down, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Again, first link in the description, go ahead and sign up for Robinhood, get yourself a free stock. And second link in the description, go ahead and sign up for Webull, get yourself up to 75 fractional shares of stocks. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them down below. And other than that,